guys, I'm Esther from ESLASHES, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you everything there is to know about lash extensions. So we're going to cover a lot in this video. So if you have any questions about lash extensions, if you're thinking about getting them, if you don't understand them, you don't know what's going on or what to really think about them, this video is going to cover that all. I have been in the lash industry for 5 years now, and I'm going to share with you a bunch of the basic knowledge so that you understand what lash extensions are. And here are all the things we're going to go over in this video. So we're going to go over the benefits of lash extensions, the types of lash extensions that you can get, so classic, hybrid, volume, mega volume. We're going to go over how lash extensions are actually applied, the curls and lengths that you can choose, pre-made fans versus handmade fans for volume lashes, the price and the cost of getting lash extensions, the cost of lash fills, how lash fills work, why you need lash fills, how to pick a lash tech, and how to care for your lash extensions after the appointment. So hopefully that covers everything that you're looking for. Let's get started. Right, so let's start with some of the benefits of getting lash extensions applied. So I think one of the main things that people love about lash extensions is that it saves you so much time in the morning. You don't really have to apply makeup if you get the lashes that you want, that suit your look. So you don't have to worry about eyeliner, you don't have to worry about mascara, anything like that. So it saves you a ton of time getting ready in the morning, and you still have a glamorous look. The other thing I love about lash extensions is that they are super customizable, so you can change your look either depending on your mood or depending on your eye shape. So if, for example, you find that you want to have a more open, more awake looking eye, you can actually have lash extensions applied in a way that's going to make you look more awake or make your eyes look more open. If, for example, you want to elongate your eye and have more of a cat eye look on the everyday basis without having to worry about doing a winged eyeliner, you can actually get lash extensions applied to give you that certain makeup look. And then you don't have to worry about putting the effort in yourself. Everything's done, it's perfect and ready to go. Another thing that I love about lash extensions is you can do them natural or you can do them glamorous. So you can have them changed, have them switched around depending on what it is that you're looking for. So I mean, lash extensions are just such a great way to either change your look or enhance your look, and I absolutely love them. Now, I've had them on for well over 5 years myself. I did have to take them off for a number of reasons, like COVID, because we couldn't go into salons during that time. My lashes were actually healthier and stronger than when I was using an eyelash curler. So when lash extensions are applied properly, they actually keep your lashes super healthy and safe. Of course, they can be damaged if you go to the wrong tech, but we are going to go over how to pick the technician later on in this video. So there's a bunch of different types of lash extensions that you can get. And again, it depends on what kind of look that you're going for. So the first one is classic lashes. So classic lashes are when the technician just takes one individual extension and applies it to one of your natural lashes. So this can actually create a super natural look because you're not going to have that fluff, you're not going to have your lashes filled in. Now, classic lashes are not really the right fit for everybody, even for a natural look. If you have really sparse or thin lashes, you might want to go with a hybrid or volume set. You can still have it looking natural while filling in some of those gaps in your lash line. Because if you want to have a super full lash line, you need to have a lot of lashes for a classic set. But a classic set is definitely a very natural look on most people, but again, not right for everybody. The classic set is also the fastest one to have applied, and it's usually the one that's cheapest in cost. Now, next up, we have a hybrid set. So a hybrid set is actually a combination of volume and classic. So volume is when you make a fan by applying multiple lightweight lashes to one natural lash. So you're going to put some fans, so you'll see the fan, I can show it up on the side here, some fans with some classic lashes. So it's going to create a nice textured mixed look. And again, it's so customizable, it's going to look different on everybody, but a hybrid set is going to have a little bit of that volume fluff with those straight classic lashes. That would be the middle of the road for the amount of time it takes to apply and for the cost. Now, next up is volume lashes. So that's where we apply multiple lash extensions to one natural lash in the form of a fan. So the fans can be anywhere from 2 to 10 lashes per fan. So you can actually have 10 little tiny little eyelash extensions per one lash. It depends on the look. You can go for, 3 or 4 lashes per natural lash and that's going to create a really natural look. So again, it depends. Now volume is going to take longer to apply and it's going to cost more. Next up, we have mega volume lashes. Now, mega volume lashes are super glamorous. That's for those people that want that dark lash line. You want your lash extensions to be seen from across the room. You want them to be noticeable. You want that drama. So you can go with short mega volume lashes and they're not going to be like all the way up to here. You can pick the length. But mega volume lashes are going to be very dark and very glamorous and noticeable. So with mega volume lashes, you're going to have anywhere from 10 to 20 lightweight fans per lash. So it sounds like, oh, this, volume, it might be too much for some delicate lashes to have volume applied. But when you're making volume fans, you actually use lighter weight lashes, which we'll get into soon. And you're probably wondering how lash extensions are actually applied. So I'm going to show a video kind of showing the application process so you can see how the lashes are applied. So first, the lash technician is going to make sure that your lashes have been washed. Either they'll do it for you or they'll have you do it ahead of time. They're going to put an under eye pad underneath your eye, and they might use lash tape as well, depending on your eye, depending on the lash tech. Then they're going to prime your lashes, so they're just going to use tiny little brushes to clean off those lashes to make sure that there's nothing left over on the surface of the lash, because we want the lash glue to actually stick to that natural lash. So if you've had your nails done before, think about it. They wipe your nail with the acetone to make sure that you have that nice, clean, dry surface for the solution to stick to. Then, so once everything is prepped and primed, you can see how long that takes just to get ready to get started. Then they're going to start using 2 tweezers. So each hand will have a set of lash tweezers in it. And these tiny little tweezers are going to file through your lashes and find one tiny little natural lash. And then they're going to grab an extension, dip it in a tiny little amount of glue, and then they're going to take that extension and apply it to that one individual natural lash. So you can see this is very, intricate work that they're doing. You can see why it takes so long, because you have to go through one by one and apply those extensions. All right, next up we have curls and lengths for lash extensions. So depending again on your eye shape, they're going to choose, and you're going to actually even request a different curl. So it's just what it sounds like. There's different curls, so some are straighter and some are curlier. So if you want a strong curl, you would go for something like a D curl. So the most common curl, the most popular curl, is actually the C curl. So you can see up on the screen, I'm going to post all of the different curls there for you. There's a bunch of different curls. We're just going to go through the most popular ones. So C curl is a very natural look, but it still has a bit of a lift. So you can see on my eyes right now, I actually have a C curl. So it does have a little bit of a lift, but it's not super curly like a D curl, which would curl all the way up to here. So next up is a D curl. So a D curl is going to be a more dramatic look. It's going to be a tighter curl. So what that's going to do is that's going to create a lift. So it's going to be very curly, when you use your eyelash curler or you get your lashes lifted, that's going to be the more curly look. Now, there's also CC curl and DD curl. CC just means it's a little bit curlier than C curl, and DD curl just means it's a little bit tighter curl than the D curl. Now, another popular curl right now is the L curl. It's often used on hooded eyes, things like that, to create kind of a dramatic lift. But at the end of the day, the 2 most popular curls, the 2 standard curls that almost all lash techs will have, is the C curl and the D curl. So you're likely going to be picking between one of those 2. But again, depending on your tech, some techs will carry a ton of different curls. There are supernatural curls like the B and J curl if you want something really straight for some reason. It all depends on the eye shape and everything like that. But for the most part, you're going to be seeing that C and D curl as the 2 most popular ones. And then next up, we have lengths. So lash extensions come in a bunch of different lengths, and they are measured by millimeters because they are so tiny. So lashes can actually start as low as 5 millimeters, which is extremely small. But in some cases, that is really the right length for people. For example, when you're working on the inner corner of the eye, you want to have a really short lash on people that have naturally really short lashes. And depending on the eye shape and the facial structure, sometimes really long lashes in the inner corner right here can actually start, hitting on your bone and things like that and just feeling uncomfortable. So sometimes you'll want to start with a 5, 6, 7 millimeter. Those are very short lashes. People go all the way up into the 20 millimeters. Now, I don't recommend 20 millimeters. I think that's too long. It's too heavy for the natural lash. The most common lengths that we see being worked with are between 8 millimeters and 15 millimeters. So you're gonna see, for example, again on myself, I have up to 15 millimeters here. So you can see some of the longer ones would be 15. If they were decurl, you would see they're curled, they look a little bit shorter. But going up to 15 millimeters is usually the most common high length that we would go up to. So there's also your own request as well. So if you're talking to your lash tech and you're like, I just want a really natural look, I want the lashes to be really short, okay, they can go ahead and do that. If you want to make them a little bit longer, as long as it's safe for your natural lashes, you can request that you want longer lash extensions. So it can be based on personal preference as well. Now, when it comes to volume fans, like we were talking about earlier, the fans can be made by hand, so the technician can actually pick up, let's say, 10 individual little eyelash extensions and form them into the shape of a fan. But there's also another option that the techs have, which is using a pre-made fan. So the fan is already made for you in advance. Now, the benefit of using a pre-made fan is that it's going to save the technician and yourself a lot of time. So you're not going to be, getting your lashes done for as long. Maybe they can get the set done in 2 hours instead of 3 hours. So that's a real benefit, especially if you're short on time, you don't have a lot of time to get your lashes done. Now, the benefit of the handmade fans is that they can last longer. So the handmade fans will actually wrap around the natural lash. So basically they just stick on better because all the lashes are separate when you're putting them on. So there's more points of contact with that natural lash. You can see in the diagram there, it actually wraps around the natural lash. So it can tend to last longer, which is great. So there's pros and cons to each of them, but that's the difference between the two. Now, next up is pricing. So the cost of your lash extensions is really going to depend on a number of things like, how long your technician has been practicing as a lash artist. If they're more experienced, they're likely to charge more. More experienced lash artist is normally going to be more expensive, but they might be faster and more skilled. So you have to take that into account as well. I'm just going to give you guys some sort of standard issue pricing. Keep in mind, it can be higher and lower depending on the lash tech. Okay, so for a classic set, for a brand new set, this means you're getting your lash extensions done for the first time. That's going to be $130 for a classic set. For a hybrid set, $160. For a volume set, $180. And for a mega volume set, $200. Now keep in mind, like for a mega volume set, it can go up to $300, or some people offer it for, $150. It really depends on the tech. Now, each one of these services is going to take a different amount of time because there's more effort that has to go into them and more time that has to go into them. So for a classic set, it can take anywhere from 1.5 to 2 hours. This is just on average. Hybrid set, 2 hours. Volume set, 2 to 2.5 hours. Mega volume, 2.5 to 3 hours. Now that's typically if they're using handmade fans. Sometimes the timing can go down a little bit if they're using pre-made fans. Okay, next up we have lash fills. So once you have your lash extensions applied, you have that new set. It doesn't last forever. You have to keep going back to the technician to get your lash extensions filled, and we're going to explain how that works and why next. Now, for fills, they can take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half on average, depending on how often you're going in and what kind of set you're getting done. So of course, a classic fill is going to be faster than a mega volume fill. Now your fills can range between $60 to $120. It all depends on all the things like we mentioned before. And how fills work. So what happens is the lash technician is going to go in with their tweezers, their 2 little tweezers, and they're going to remove any grown out lash extensions. So some of them get grown out. So the reason we need fills is because lashes are always shedding, they're always growing out, and so what will happen is sometimes our lash extension or natural lash will fall off with the extension. They fall off together. Just like the hair on our head is always shedding, the same thing happens with our lashes. The other thing is, even as our lash extensions are growing out, maybe they didn't actually fall out, but they've grown out. So now the extension grows out with them. What can happen when they grow out too far is the lash extension can actually twist. So you don't want them to grow out that far because it's too much weight on the natural lash, and it's very uncomfortable for you if one of your lashes has flipped around and is hanging in front of your eye. It's happened to me before when I couldn't get in for a fill on time, and it is so frustrating. Like you just cannot wait to get into that fill to get your lashes freshened up. So the lash technician is going to go in with their 2 tweezers and they're going to peel back very gently any of those grown out lash extensions. Of course, some lash extensions will have fallen out and some lash extensions will have been removed, which means now there's a bunch of natural lashes that need to have extensions applied. So the technician's going to go in just like they did in your original appointment and start applying new lash extensions. When the lash extensions are getting applied, they're about 0.5 to 1 millimeter away from your eye, away from your eyelid. So they're going to go ahead and start applying new ones closer to the eyelid so that you have a fresh set when you leave. Now this doesn't take nearly as long as the first set because a lot of the extensions will still be fine and can be still left on your eye. So week after week, you'll still be kind of hanging on to some of your old lash extensions. Now, how often do you need lash extensions? So you need to go in for lash extension fills usually every 2 to 3 weeks. Everybody's hair growth cycle is different. Everyone's hair is different. Some people really need fills every 2 weeks. Some people actually can wait as long as 4 weeks, depending on how their lashes grow. So just keep that in mind if you're going to get lash extensions for the first time, that in order to keep them up, you do need to go in approximately every 3 weeks. Now, if you haven't been to a lash tech before, you don't know who to pick, I'm going to give you guys a couple tips on how to pick your lash technician because you want to make sure you're going to somebody that's not going to mess up your eyes or damage your lashes. So you want to go to a super knowledgeable lash technician. You want to ask them a bunch of questions. If there are any questions that you have, go ahead and ask them. I always recommend checking out their website if they have one and checking out their Instagram page. See if they mention anything about proper sanitization procedures because you want to know that they are properly sterilizing those tweezers, properly sterilizing the salon and sanitizing everything. So check and see if they mention that. If they don't, you can ask them, hey, what is your procedure? And see if it's something that you're comfortable with. Another thing is the best thing you can do is get a referral from a friend. If you like the look of your friend's lashes, they haven't had any eye infections, they haven't had anything go wrong, they don't have damage to their lashes, ask them for the referral. That's often the best way because somebody's already checked them out for you. It saves you from having to take a chance yourself. Another thing you can do is ask for certification. A lot of people actually post it in their bio on their social media that says, hey, I've been certified here. I've been 5 times certified. You know, a lot of lash techs keep recertifying themselves so that they can learn more, they can learn new techniques and everything like that. So it's another great thing to look for. And when you're looking for a lash tech and you're viewing their page, you want to like their work. You want to think, hey, that's the style I'm looking for. I want to see that on myself. So if you're seeing a page and the lashes are like super long, they're up to the eyebrow, and that is not the look that you're going for, you want to pick a different lash tech, a different lash artist, because you want to pick somebody that suits your style. Now, if you are looking for super long, super glamorous lashes, maybe you don't want to go to somebody that's doing a very short lash set, very natural looking lash set, because all the lash artists are going to have different styles, you know, that they kind of lean towards. So when you're looking for a lash tech, you want to keep that in mind as well. All right, and lastly is how to care for your lash extensions, so your aftercare, and what to expect after your lash extensions have been applied. So after your lash extensions have been applied, sometimes the tech will recommend that you don't get them wet for 24 hours, but if they use a bonder, you can ask them, is it okay if I get my lashes wet right away? If they've used a bonder, you can go ahead and just resume as normal. So you can get your lashes wet right away if they've used a bonder. Check with your lash tech to make sure. One of the things you're going to want to keep in mind with your lashes is that they do need to be washed. So while you're at the salon, you can ask for a lash safe cleanser. I believe they sell them at places like Sephora as well. We sell a lash safe cleanser at ESLASHES, which is gentle, no added fragrance, no parabens, sulfates, none of that. Basically what you want to do is you want to wash your lash extensions every day. So when you're washing your face, you're going to do your extensions as well. So you're going to use a little tiny bit of that foaming lash cleanser, and with a cleansing brush, you're going to clean in between all of those lashes. So when you have lash extensions on, it's very important to clean them because they can tend to collect dirt, oil, everything like that. So cleaning them is going to make your lash extensions last longer, and it's going to prevent you from getting an eye infection. So it's very important that you actually clean your lash extensions. The next thing is the way that you sleep. So you want to be careful. If you're a face sleeper, it's not really ideal to have lash extensions. You can still get away with it, but some of them might move, twist, things like that overnight. So the best thing you can do is have a satin or silk pillowcase. That's going to prevent the lashes from pulling as you're sleeping, if you sleep on your face or if you sleep on your side. You want to avoid also excessive heat around your lash extension. So if you're someone who blow dries your hair on the hot setting, just try to avoid the lash area when you're blow drying. Like, let's say if you have a bang or something and you're blowing right here, like, that's not ideal. Putting excessive heat on the lash extensions can actually straighten them over time. Another thing to avoid is things like lighters if you're a smoker, or opening the barbecue or opening the oven. Let the heat escape first before putting your face in, because you don't want to melt your lashes. Lashes are actually made from a synthetic fiber, so they can melt if they get like excessively overheated. And the last thing you want to do is avoid oil-based products around your eyes. So no waterproof makeup, and no waterproof makeup remover, and no oil around the eye area, because over time that can break down the glue and cause your lash extensions to fall out a little bit faster. So guys, if you have any questions at all, I know there was a lot of information in this video, please let me know in the comments below. I can answer any of your questions about lash extensions. And if you guys liked this video, please let me know by hitting that like button and that subscribe button below.